Hi. All right, we are at the MJBA headquarters, and I'm with Mr. David Rheins.
Good to see you twice, babe.
Yes, hello. So we're getting ready for Halloween, obviously, and the Halloween party.
24 hours from today.
Tomorrow night. But we're also, more importantly, talking about something that's happening next Tuesday, which is what?
Well, the cannabis elections 2014, right? So even though 2016 is the presidential elections and most people get rallied around that, these are very important elections for us in the cannabis industry.
Right. So I read this morning in Oregon, they are talking that if the people that show up, the young people, the younger demographic shows up like they did in the last election, that the marijuana initiative will go through.
Well, you know,
so that's kind of a big deal for them to get out and vote for this one as well.
It is a big deal, and in so many progressive issues, the youth vote and the so-called youth vote, you know, anywhere under 35, is oftentimes problematic, right? Because we're busy, and particularly in a midterm, we may not take the time to go to the polls to vote. It is so important to vote, even if it's only to impact a local race, a local initiative, a congressional race, a judgeship, a sheriff's spot. There's so many local issues that are important. So first of all, you got to get educated.
Sure. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that could change next week. We could have marijuana legalized in Oregon and Alaska. And Washington still.
District of Columbia.
Well, what's happening in Washington that people need to know about?
Well, we just had 6065 is on the ballot, and that is the repeal of what was an exclusion for marijuana businesses from participating in an agricultural tax abatement. That is, if you're normally involved in agriculture in Washington state, because it's such an economic driver here of tax revenues and of jobs and of our base economy, there are certain advantages that the state gives you. However, these were not extended to marijuana businesses which were not deemed to be agricultural.
Yeah.
Comes from the ground, grows in a plant, not agricultural. So much depends upon that definition. So on that ballot, 6065, we do want to repeal that.
Repeal it.
Repeal.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, and then, so, you know, depending on where you're looking at, let's look at Oregon, let's look at Alaska. We also have many races in, county races in Michigan that are going legal. And then, of course, the big medical race is in Florida.
Florida, yeah.
So that's going to be a tight one. Early on, we thought that that was going to be a no-brainer. There were polls that showed public support up into the 80s.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of dollars, a lot of misinformation, a lot of advertising, fear, really. And so it's important for those of you in our Sunshine State to get activated. And for those of you who are living around the country, call Grandma. She needs to vote. So that's my 2 cents.
So basically everybody needs to vote.
Needs to vote and needs to share these issues because, again, what we're really doing is setting ourselves up for 2016, which is a very major election. We'll have states like California most likely going legal, and we'll have, at that point, really a presidential election that will suggest whether our progressive policies are continued for another 4 years. So that's very, very, very important. But get involved today, please. In the process, no matter how you vote, please do exercise that very important constitutional right.
All right. Thank you for enlightening us a little bit on these issues. For MJNN, this is Twice Baked in Washington.
And happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
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 Halloween.